Hey, my friend, welcome to another series in coaching sessions on Champion Your Mindset, Champion Your Life. Today's coaching session, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about 2 mistakes that will kill or drive our confidence. Before we get started, though, I don't know if you know who I am or not. I just want to quickly introduce myself. I'm Coach Burnside. I've been in this personal coaching space for almost 14 years. I've been in the coaching space as a speaker, trainer, and coach, and helping people just like you develop themselves. And I can tell you that the mindset is where this all starts, right? If we want to have a great life, be a great leader, be a great coach, it all starts right here within the 6 inches between our ears, which is not always easy to control. And I understand that, and that's why I'm continually working on it myself, and that's why I shoot videos just like this, is to help me become better and hopes to help you become better as well. And today, before we get real deep into this, I just want you to think about confidence and what confidence is to you. And where did it come from? Like, confidence is a funny thing. It seems simple, right? It seems like, oh, it's just a flip of a switch. And we should have it because some people have it and some of us don't. And it's not easy. I've had this conversation a lot, and it's even harder as a coach from a standpoint to really pin it down, right? To put our thumb on it and say, hey, here's where confidence comes from, is this number one thing. And it's really not that way. So what is it? So what am I going to talk about today? Well, first thing we have to understand is the truth is confidence is a moving target. Some days we really have it, some days we don't. Or, maybe we think we found what causes it and then we just lose it. So it seems like it's always a moving target. And so the first thing that I want to talk to you today about as we talk about confidence is that. The first thing is that not all lanes that we're in, we're always going to have the same confidence in. So what do I mean by that? Let me clear that up. So there's different lanes that we walk in life, right? And let me give you a story or an example of a gal that I had the opportunity to coach. And this gal, when I first met her, was very confident. And she was pretty aggressive and outspoken and wasn't afraid to kind of tell you how it was, right? And I thought, man, what a great leader. She's got some great personalities, and she was confident in her work and what she did. And as I got to coaching her later, she admitted to me that where her biggest struggle was speaking up in a meeting. And I was just blown away. I'm like, there's no way that can be a struggle for you. And she's like, absolutely. She says, the higher people, the bigger managers and stuff, they intimidate me. And I thought, man, I would have never guessed that. She seemed so confident from the outside, right? So I had the opportunity to coach her, and we talked about things and what scared her in those meetings. And really kind of what it come down to is fear, right? Confidence trumps fear, and fear sometimes will take away our confidence. And she was just afraid. She was afraid of looking dumb or asking the wrong questions or asking dumb questions, like we all are, right? We've been there. We understand that. And so she was afraid of this. And so I coached her through that and how I would ask the question if I was afraid. And so I'll give that to you and we can talk about it. But in that lane, she just learned to ask the question by saying, hey, I really don't know if I understand this completely or clearly. Will you please just help clarify things for me? And then that way, it was just kind of relaxing and easy for her to ask that question. So as time went on, long story short, she was able to start asking more questions in these meetings and take her leadership to the next level and start providing more leadership for other people and start running meetings and being more involved in these meetings that she had to sit in and being able to put her input in. And it came with confidence, and then her confidence grew. So it was little steps at a time. So my point being is there's certain lanes that we're going to be confident in. And there's just certain lanes we're not. And that's true for everybody. And we have to understand that because we think that confident people are confident in everything. And that's not the case at all. And some people say, well, I've had the same people tell me, Rusty, you look really confident when you're on camera and you're talking. And that hasn't always been the case, right? Hasn't always been the case to get in front of hundreds of people and talk and train and coach and in front of a camera. Those are things that haven't always been confident for me. There's things on the internet and stuff like that I'm not confident about. And so you have to just understand. First thing that I want you to understand is we're not confident in everything we do. People with confidence have fears. They have things that scare them. They have unknowns as well. But the difference might be between them is they will go to something else and pull strength from other things that they're confident in. So I hope that makes sense. So number one thing I want you to take away is we're not confident in every lane that we're in at that time. And when we switch lanes, it's a learning curve for people that are confident as well. So I get it. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. And we definitely don't want to go into the arrogance world. Some of you might be thinking that, well, it's not okay to have confidence. I'm here to tell you, it's absolutely okay to have confidence. If I could teach one thing to everybody, to all my athletes, to the people I go to, younger generations, people that are employees of companies, people that are running companies, if I could do one thing for them, what I would do for them is I would teach them confidence. That's the number one thing that I would want is for them is to have is confidence. The problem is it's not super easy to teach, right? It's not super easy to learn. We just don't pick it up and run with it. But through these couple steps today, I can tell you the number one thing that kills most people's confidence is they believe they should be confident in everything. We're not confident in everything. Understand that, and that's okay. So the second thing that we're going to talk about today is accepting the fact that everything we do is a work in progress. And the thing is, those people that you see are more confident, they're just farther along in that process. They've been at it longer. They've made the mistakes. They've went through that embarrassing moment or that learning curve or that moment where they just didn't know where to get started. So accept that. Accept the fact that it's okay to make mistakes. I can tell you as a speaker, it's intimidating, right? It's intimidating to get in the front of a room when you have hundreds and thousands of people in front of that room. I don't know about you, but you're probably thinking right now, yeah, that scares me to death. Even thinking about it, I start getting butterflies. I was on the plane just the other day with a guy and we were talking and he was a salesman. And you would think a salesman would not have the problem of standing in front of a crowd and talking, right? Well, this guy did. He told me that it still scared him to this day, and he's been doing it for a long time, to stand in front of a crowd and speak. And so we talked about some different things and different ideas, and he's like, it's normal, right? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, it's normal to get butterflies. And that's what we have to understand is it's okay to be a little bit scared. It's okay to feel a little bit intimidated. That's normal. But what's going to take care of that, right? How are we going to get through that then? Well, how you do it is you stand in front of that crowd. And you're like, well, yeah, Rusty, but it's not that easy. I get it. That's the hard part, right? It's taking that first step. So just like in my story before, what's the first little step that we can take? If you have to go stand in front of a crowd, maybe it's just first speaking in front of the mirror. If you can speak in front of the mirror for an hour and feel confident about what you're talking about and see yourself and your body language, you can go present that to a group. And so it just takes a little bit of practice. Don't take the big step first. It might just be the little step, if that makes sense. So what are we going to do about this, right? Where's our steps going to go? What's the things that we can do to help move this forward? Well, there's a couple things that I want you to take away from this today. The first thing is that we just have to understand that it's okay to not be confident in everything. And when we feel we're lacking that confidence, let's find something we're confident in. And let's understand that process that we went through to get confident in it. So for instance, if I'm confident in my job and what I'm doing, whatever my job is, I may not be confident in leading other people, but I can take that confidence in what I know there and use bits and pieces of it and understand, how did I get there? Because even in your career, you probably didn't start out extremely confident. It took a few moments and a few building blocks to get where you are today. So understand that's okay. The second thing I want you to do is just accept the fact that everything we do is a work in progress, man. We're a mess. Most of the people in the world, we're a mess. On the outside, we look pretty good, right? But on the inside, we all have this same constant battle. We're fighting this battle day in and day out. And the difference between those that look confident and those that don't is they just keep fighting. They just keep standing back up. When they get knocked down, they stand back up. It bothers them and it frustrates them, but at the end of the day, they're just not willing to give it up. So understand that confidence for us comes from accepting the fact that we're going to mess up. We're going to mess up from time to time, and that's okay. We'll live with it. We're not so worried about the event. We're more worried about the outcome. And that's where we have to keep our focus on. So I hope today, the two skills that we're talking about, the two mistakes that will kill or drive your confidence, understand those two are the same things. The same thing that can drive your confidence can also kill your confidence. I hope that you got something from this today, and I hope it helps you to add value to yourself as well as those around you and grow. So go ahead and share this with anybody that might need it as well as yourself. Come back, take the notes on it, and we'll see you on the next coaching session. And remember, until we meet again, champion your mindset, champion your life.